Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the owner of an amazing distilling company here in Texas, and they boast that they have the finest bourbon and whiskey in the great state of Texas. You'll hear his incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, you know, we Texans are very proud. Everything is bigger and better here in Texas, and that goes for our spirits as well. That's why I invited Jay Tulimieri in the studio. He is the CEO and owner of TAH Distilling Company. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So what makes your bourbons and whiskeys better than the rest?
Well, there's a couple things that distinguish us from other bourbon and whiskey companies. One is, and particularly our bourbon in this bottle here, is a 4-grain bourbon. Typically, your bourbons are going to be, they have to be at least 50% corn, and then it'll have barley and rye in it. We add a percentage of wheat to our corn, to our bourbon to make it the 4-grain. Another distinguishing factor about our company is that most bourbon producers don't actually grind their own grains and make their product that way. They buy their bourbon wholesale, and then they blend it, and they may do things to age it a little bit differently, and that's how they get their distinctive flavor. There's nothing wrong with that. We are different in that we purchase 100% of our grains. They're all Texas grains. We buy from Tex Malt over in Fort Worth.
Nice.
And so we are a Texas bourbon company. Grain to glass Texas experience.
I love it. And you have an interesting story related to your founder. Let's go ahead and put him on the screen so you can share this story with us. Tell us about Justin.
Yeah, Justin is, he is still an owner of the company, and he is also our head distiller. So he's a very artistic guy, was a woodworker at one point, avid cyclist, and unfortunately, he suffered a personal tragedy and was in a severe car accident, over 2 years of rehab, 11 different surgeries. And after that experience, he wanted to do something different. And so he founded TAH in 2016. And the name, it's a Native American term. It means bend in the river. And the meaning behind it is that you just don't know. You don't know what life is going to give you, and it's all about how you respond to it. And the way he chose to respond was founding a great company and growing that business. And my business partner and I, Lance Johnson, could not be happier to be able to be on this journey with him.
Absolutely. We're going to scroll down the website, and I can't imagine that it's easy to get into liquor stores and restaurants and bars. So as we scroll down the website, talk about the challenges that any liquor company faces getting into the market.
The hardest thing is to get consumers to try your product. And the process that you have to go through in order to do that is quite comprehensive. We have we have a great distributor in Benny Keith, again, a local company, who distributes for us. And the distributor will then sell to a liquor store. We are in the 4 major liquor stores in Dallas. Specs, Siegel's, which is now Twin Liquors, Total Wine, and Goody Goody. So we have accounts with all those stores.
Yes.
We're not in every single store yet. And so that's a process that we have to work on with our distributor to get into those stores. And then when you want to hit the hotel and restaurant market, you then need those restaurants and hotels to go to their liquor stores and pull the product that way. Then once you're in the restaurants, you have to run promotions. You have to, because you need people to actually try your product.
Right.
So,
and Jay is a tireless salesman because you're out there. You will actually show up at a restaurant, sit at the bar, and strike up a conversation with the bartender.
Yeah, it's probably not the the game plan that every marketing director would draw up, but it's really maybe it's a bit of an ego thing that I want to see my bottle at the bars and restaurants in the Dallas area that I like to frequent. And so I strike up a conversation, talk to the bartender, find out who are they buying their product from. It's generally one of the major liquor stores, making sure we have an account there and, get them to, talk to the person that actually orders and get them to place an order for our product. I carry around my little bag of tricks that has all the samples in it, so I'm ready to go at any time. We also do, and I've been doing this myself, we are hiring a team to do this, but before I hired people to do it, I wanted to understand what it was.
Yeah.
So we've done a staff tasting at Specs. I did a on-the-floor tasting at Siegel's on Greenville this past weekend, and it went well.
That's great. Well, I mean, being able to look your customer in the eye and get the reaction when they taste it for the first time. We're going to pull up the notes page off of your website and talk about the taste. I know it's hard to do on TV, but how does it differ from other bourbons?
There's kind of a spice to the Texas bourbon. It's, and that's the peppery up front that you get.
Right.
But ours is very, very smooth going down. So in both the malted rye and in the 4-grain bourbon, you have that white pepper, the toasted butter, and vanilla. That's really what you taste.
Yes.
On the smell is more of the caramel. You can smell the corn.
Yes.
You can smell a little bit of smoke.
And let's scroll down and tell us about this one.
There's the malt whiskey. So again, it's a very similar profile. It's just certain things are bigger than others.
Yes.
The vanilla is a little bit bigger on this. The white pepper is a little bit bigger. But those actually contrast quite well.
Yes.
And then you have that buttered toast and toffee. So there's a little bit of a sweetness to it.
And what's the reaction? I mean, for an experienced whiskey or bourbon drinker, when you put it in their hand for the first time, what do you see on their face?
I'll talk about the 4-grain bourbon first. Generally, our 4-grain is 100 proof, which is on the higher end of your regular strength bourbon, but not outrageous.
Yeah.
And so people are generally shocked that it's 100 proof. They figured it might have been 80,
right,
which is on the low end of where bourbon can be. And so it's the smoothness, and that price point wise, it compares quite favorably to a lot more expensive brands. We are a premium bourbon, but we want to stay out of that ultra premium market, frankly, because it's such a small market.
And the whiskey, same kind of profile?
Yes, very, very, very similar. We use a malted rye, which is a bit unusual in the amount that we use. It's almost 40% malted rye.
Wow.
So it is a rye malt whiskey rather than just a rye whiskey.
Yeah, but I imagine if people taste yours for the first time, they can't go back to whatever they were drinking before.
We have converts out there. We certainly do.
That's beautiful.
I at my tasting at Siegel's last weekend, I actually had someone who had one of the ultra premium bottles in his basket. His brother dragged him over there to try it. He tried it and he goes, "I'm putting this back."
Wow!
And he grabbed the bottle of mine.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And price wise, how's it compare?
The list price on this is $55. You'll generally find it in liquor stores between $45 and $55.
That's very reasonable.
The rye whiskey is $65, and you'll generally find it between $60 and $65. And then we also have a cask strength 4-grain bourbon, exact same mash bill.
Yeah.
And the mash bill is basically that. Those are the ingredients
Yes.
that go into it, the grains that go into it. That is generally in the same price range as the rye, around $65 a bottle.
And you make it right here in the great state of Texas in Palestine. We've got a picture. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so those are our pot stills. And there's an interesting story behind them. Arthur Harris was a famous copper maker. The company still exists today, but they don't make copper pots anymore. The company was founded, I believe, in the late 1800s. And so those pots were manufactured for Hershey's.
Wow.
And they were in
They used to hold chocolate.
Yep, Oakdale, California.
Wow.
So we found those out there, or Justin actually found those out there. Those preceded our involvement with the company. And Vendome out of Kentucky, they're the #1 premier pot still maker in the United States.
Wow.
So that's where we do all our distillation.
Well, and I like it that your founder really considers himself an artist. And so all of this, it's not trying to make a quick buck. It's really trying to create a unique flavor profile, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, that is 100% his focus. He's constantly looking to, all right, you know, in order to be the bourbon, it has to hit newly charred white American oak barrel. You can only use the barrel once for that to make bourbon. But then you could do a second barreling in, you know, an old sherry cask or a port cask.
Yes.
And that will change the flavor profile of it. So he's constantly tinkering with that.
Yes.
And with these 2 pots now up and running, you know, he had to get it dialed in and figure out, okay, which valve needs to be in which position and how long do we have to do this? And he's now got it down to, we are making a barrel a day.
That's awesome.
You know, that's 53 gallons of spirits a day. And so we're making 5 a week. And that is going to allow us, now that we have our production dialed in, we can focus on the marketing aspect of the business.
Yes.
And so pushing the product, because we're now confident that we have enough inventory on the ground that's already aged.
Yes.
And that we have production that is being barreled as we speak.
Beautiful.
And that will age so that there won't be a gap in our ability to supply the market. Because if you make all these efforts to get into these stores, to get into these restaurants, and then the next order they place you can't deliver on, they're going to find someone else.
Yeah.
It's a very competitive market. There's a lot of players out there.
Yes.
And so you have to be on your game.
All right. In the last minute, Jay, look to the camera on your left and talk to the whiskey or bourbon drinker who has never tried yours.
I strongly suggest you go out and get a bottle. Now, I, in particular, true bourbon aficionados will always try the product neat. Okay, that means with no ice, nothing in it. I will tell you this, I actually prefer my bourbon with an ice cube in it. Also, our bourbon makes a great old-fashioned, and our rye malt whiskey, if you want a Manhattan,
That's the one.
you're going to have the Manhattan of your life if you use our rye malt whiskey.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with the website, which is tahwhiskey.com. The great Jay Tulimieri. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.